running now? Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it.
Okay. We are live, and let's see, what is the time? Wow. Wow. I thought it was like 7 minutes till, but it says it's 5:56. And and Peter, I guess Peter likes our live video as well. Hey, thumbs up to Peter.
How you doing, Peter?
Yeah, he's out there. And Alan says thumbs up to you as well, Peter. All right, I like that when I get those confirmations there. Yeah, it works. Hey, so how you doing today, Alan?
Well, I'm not doing too bad. I had some dental work done, so I won't be doing too much in the way of talking, but
okay.
How are you guys doing? I got no teeth.
Oh man. Yeah, it's my wife was saying, like, with everybody getting these stimulus checks, there's going to be a lot of people getting Fauci. But I'm thinking, like, if your choice is new clothes, maybe a new TV set, maybe a plethora of many things, I don't know how far teeth would be in line, and plus it probably costs more than $1,400.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I haven't gotten my stimulus just yet, and I understand
it's going to be out by the 7th, they say.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And the illustrious veterans who put their lives on the line for our country, they get to wait even longer.
Oh man, this is ridiculous. Oh man, oh well. It's the regime, the Jim Crow, China Joe regime, and the Hills Up Harris regime. That because Marcus says that we're going to get the next part, and I said, with this bandito, you don't know. With Trump, it came on time. It was no hanky panky. It just came, And now I hear this is not on our list, but I hear that this bandito is going to raise the taxes for corporate companies up to 28% again, from 21 to 28%. And the corporate, these people are not going to raise, they're not going to, they're going to raise the products that they sell. And they're going to continue getting paid the same thing they're paying or more. And they just raise the products that they sell. And maybe they might not even hire, as many people. So the corporations, they know how to adjust to work with any kind of system, just so, and they just pass it on to the consumers. And this knucklehead doesn't know that, doesn't care, whatever. Who knows what this knucklehead is thinking? But that's what we have, and that's what somebody fake or not, dead or not, voted, cheated this guy in. And who cares what the APR says about who is the current leader of the free world? The AP is a liar, just like the current regime that's in there right now. But I digress. As dogs are biting, what is it? Not the FBI. What is it? Secret Service people, and leaving something nice and warm in the White House. You sort of get an idea of, like, people that own dogs that bite people and don't know how to wait until you take them outside to relieve themselves. You got to wonder, like, who are the owners of these types of dogs? But
it's definitely not the fault of the dog.
Right.
It's got to be the fault of the handler.
Yeah.
And it's a guarantee that if the German Shepherd, let's just say, bites twice, so to speak, Uh, you know, it definitely bears some correction. It needs to have some corrective action taken. You just can't bite people out of hands and things.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting what's going on. But this Dr. Fauci, 80 years old, he back in 1980s when the AIDS virus came along, he made some mistakes along that ways with the AIDS virus. And let's see, I think somebody else. Hold on, but I think somebody, when I hear a little doorbell, I got to check to make sure. Hold on. Okay. I just heard a little ring, and sometimes it means to let somebody in. But so he sort of like messed up on that, and people didn't take it seriously, and a lot of gay guys got infected, and then it started crossing over to because bisexual and all that kind of stuff, and then we got this influx of this very deadly of AIDS virus that went through many communities, and if we had the political scenery we had now, Fauci, who was there then, probably would have said the same thing. Let's shut it down, and try to make a utopian. But fortunately, Reagan wasn't listening to that kind of stuff. Maybe that stuff wasn't on the table, but he wasn't listening to that kind of stuff. And so now we have what we have. And so this book came out by Steve DEACE, and it shot to #1. People are buying this book hot off. I'm thinking I want to get a copy too and read it in Kindle version.
But I understand Steve DEACE is a British stand-up comic. Is that right?
Well, no, he's a writer. I'm not sure if he's and hopefully I got his name right. I just heard it this morning, so I just wrote it the closest I could, like the days. I don't know if it's days or day part, but it's the latest book by. Wait a minute. Let me ask my phone. Let me make sure. I should do this right. What's the author's name who wrote the Dr. Fauci book?
You might get an answer.
Let's see. Oh, get out of here.
The silly thing.
Is that is that Okay, let me ask it this way. Okay, let me write this. Okay. Steve wrote the book about Dr. Fauci. Now let's see if it gives him in. Oh God. Oh, never mind.
Well, anyhow, I couldn't find too much about Steve DEACE other than he was a British stand-up comic. But this other gentleman you were talking about,
Dr. Fauci, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a book on Dr. Fauci, and did he work with him at some point?
No, he was the Dr. Fauci, the one who's saying double mask and in March of last year, he says, well, you don't really need to wear masks. And then he said he was lying because he said that they had a lack of the masks, the ones that are the really protected ones. So he said he lied then, and then so he's been one that has been putting out all this stuff about. Yeah, well, we should actually quarantine now, and just every time he comes out, he says one thing, Then he says another thing. Then he goes back to the first thing, and then he goes back to the second thing. So he's just not a consistent um, disease, whatever. And he gets paid. I guess he gets paid more than the president does.
Yeah, I think he gets paid about $1.5 million a year,
Yeah.
something like that.
So it's like, and we're listening to this knucklehead who flip flops. Something the Bible says something about a man that who let your yes be yes, your no's be no's. But this guy definitely, it's like maybe this, or and it's like I don't know. So anyway, I don't want to spend that much time on this Fauci. He's part of the propaganda regime, and so.
Well, it does bring up an interesting point, and that is vaccination cards. Since they are indeed requiring that people get these vaccinations, especially for travel, especially for other things, especially coming down the pike for international travel, this could very well create a black market. You could theoretically see individuals like myself who I'm not going to get that vaccination, not ever in a million years.
Oh, and let me tell you what I just heard today, and I think I can find the video again. But this guy who's 70 years old. Okay, I don't know if in my book it talks about what happened to me when I was 6 years old when they gave me this phenobarbital, and it blew up my skin as if somebody burnt me from the inside out. Well, okay, now I don't remember much of that. As a young person, you have the mind can help you to forget stuff. Maybe not the deep part of the mind, but the unsurface. So this guy was 70 years old, and he definitely will remember this. It ended up burning him like it burnt me back when I was 6 years old, and his skin started like sloughing off a little, strong guy. Because they were talking about this, and it's a very rare, and the same thing they said about what they call Steven Johnson syndrome. And it's so funny. I thought, well, they named it after me, and it was funny that he got this from the Johnson vaccine. So I said, no, I don't think I'm going to be anywhere near the line for that vaccine, because they got me once. Then I'm not going to put myself in a position where they get me twice, and that's for me, because I've been there, done that, and it's not too fun.
Yeah. But I will tell you, it does make a black market for those that will not get the vaccine, but yet be most happy to go ahead and pay for that card.
Yeah, because see, what is it? My wife was saying, like in Russia, if you don't want to go to the military, you can pay. I think it's $5,000, and you can, because they required all the boys 18 and above, to sign up for, I don't know, 2 years or whatever, the military. But if you don't want to, you can pay your way out. And I'm sure there was things like Vietnam. Young people went to Canada, the ones who could pay, who could afford to do that, and they were burning the draft cards. And who knows what this may lead up to? But the price on, if you want to get a fake vaccine card, is from $10 to $200.
Well, that's very interesting, and that's why the quantum dot technology, or the smart dust, or patent 060606 comes into play, so that one cannot buy one of these counterfeit vaccination cards. One can only obtain a valid ability to, say, travel or get your whatever government subsidies. This is on down the line. But once this stuff starts being required, there will be a way to close any sort of loophole to not have a counterfeit vaccination card.
Yeah, well, I'm having my doctor write me a note. That's one way, because I've been there, done that, had the virus, whatever, and I hear on May 1st, because we're going to be traveling on the 4th to Europe. Delta is going to cut out the every other seat is taped off. So that so they all realize, okay, enough people will probably be vaccinated by that time, or have is symptomatic or have had the COVID, that they feel pretty confident to say, okay, we can let down some of these rules. And you realize, like in the summertime, they had let down some of the rules in some of the flights and said no spacing, just get on the plane and sit down.
Right.
And so, man, so I feel sorry for the stewardess that have to just, okay, this is the order, we have to do this, and they get the brunt of it because they see the people firsthand. And then the people that have been kicked off planes because they refuse and whatever, it's a business, I guess, and you have to listen to the business. If you don't want to support that business, well, you got to figure out, become a driver. I know it takes a long time to drive from one place to place, and did you hear? And this is not on the top about the plane that they said in 10 years they're going to be able to develop that can fly from United States to Japan in 3 hours.
Wow.
So they said they're working on that, and it should be ready within 10 years.
Interesting.
So as you can say, hey, let's have some real Chinese food. You jump on a plane in 3 hours, and boom, you can have the real thing.
That's awesome.
So we shall see, because I don't know, when I was in college, I saw these videos about future things, and I remember, let's see, in 1995, I saw a film about flat screen TVs.
Oh yeah.
And how long did it take? It took until what was it, 2006 or later? No, was it? It was probably later, maybe a little bit later, 2007, when it became affordable to get a flat screen TV?
Well, yeah, I mean, they had been on the market since, say, 98. I think they were released, but they were ungodly expensive.
Right.
But it wasn't until about 2006 where you could pick one up for a couple of $100.
Yeah. Now, I also saw a film in 2010. I love taking these classes. I don't know if I get a chance to date them again. And this film was showing this guy going to the store and picking up stuff in his grocery cart, and then just waving his hand, and then he had some kind of chip in his enlarged in his hand or something like that, and it just paid for the food that way. Now that was in 2010, so I'm wondering how long it's going to take before they introduce that. And I think in Sweden, I think in Sweden, they're already experimenting with several of the members of the population on this chip card that has your information. And Sweden is also paperless.
Right.
You just have a number, and all that information is on that number. And they have something where, and I'm sorry, this is not in our thing, but my mind is this flow of thought. Say if you wanted to buy a guitar,
okay,
and so the guy, because your information is all there, he said, "Hey, take it home, try it out, and I'll charge you later."
Huh?
And maybe that's because it's only a country of 9 million people, right? So I don't know how that would work here. And with this like 100 million thousand people, but I just thought that was kind of cool.
350 million people in the United States of America. It doesn't really matter whether it's 9 million people or 350 million people. If you were to put a RFID radio frequency indicator in your, say, guitar, and have the same RFID chip in, your point of sale system, you could track where that guitar goes. This way, people could try it before they buy it, so to speak. And if they liked it, why, then they could go ahead and purchase it. What is going to happen, I think, from what I can tell, people are going to go to a rent type system. Rent, all the stuff they want, and then when they're done with it, they either recycle it, or if it's still usable, why, then they can go ahead and resell, or get somebody else to get use out of that.
Right. Because I was listening to this. She was saying that she didn't own anything. Like, she rented her clothes, she rented dishes, she rented everything that was around her. And she said, "Hey, this is the way to go." I don't know about that. Renting. I mean, my wife has a bunch of shoes. I don't know how she would feel like renting out her shoes, because she likes her shoes. So that might be interesting, and you have to put together a certain type of mindset.
It would take some getting used to, for sure.
Yeah. Now, want to talk a little bit about, and we're going to lead this into like James, the book of James, that says that the tongue is a untamed vehicle. I mean, it could set many things on fire. And if you guys haven't read the James, you might check it out. I think it said it was Jesus' brother, or rumors to that effect. But anyway, the book of James. And so Kirk Franklin, a gospel singer, I guess had a troubled son.
Okay.
And his son, I don't know why. I guess he said, "I'll show you, Dad. Everybody think you're holier than thou, and that you're perfect." And I hope Kirk Franklin didn't make it seem like he was perfect, but to his son, his son might have said, "Well, I'll show you. You got all these millions of dollars. You're the top."
15 Grammy Awards. I mean, this guy was up there. I mean, Kirk Franklin's a well-known gospel choir director and things.
Yeah. So I was listening to this gospel show, and they played some of the recording. I haven't been able to find the original recording yet. It's probably buried way, way down there in YouTube land. But I can see how you get upset and maybe some choice words. If you feel that your son is not respecting you, and this has been a pattern since the kid was like maybe 14 or so. I mean, sometimes you get mad, and for us who say, well, we're never gonna cuss at our kids or do that stuff. I don't know if there's that many out there like that, because I used to listen to this mother. She had kids, and she would call her kids some of the most interesting names. I'd be like, wow. I said, wow. And I said, you're treating these kids like 3 and 4, like they're like adults, and you're in a bar fight with your tongue with these kids, and so there's no license for parents to learn how to speak with their children. I mean, it's just one of those things where that's the only thing that they don't license you for. It's like having kids, or test you for, can you be a good parent? I mean, they just say, oh, go for it, and I'm not sure that it should be any kind of control over that, because, we've been doing it for thousands, millions, and zillions of years, and people make mistakes, and some people make fewer mistakes. So his son, I guess, he was really know how to poke his dad, his 32-year-old son, poke him and make him upset and mad. And he said it was another guy on the phone, and it was his uncle, the kid's uncle. And it said that, and I guess he had heard this many times before, and he was trying to put water in it to squelch it and calm things down.
Right.
But then, when the Christian world, who thinks that these guys are perfect and they have no sins, or I mean, sometimes people they put people on a pedestal like that.
Oh yeah.
So, he apologized for what his son put out there, but it's just his son just being vindictive. And I listened to a guy named Jesse Lee Peterson who says, if you have something that you're against your parents that they did, just forgive them. Go to them and say, hey, I know you did this and this, and just say, hey, I forgive you, and get that out of the way, or the anger will eat you up. And it sounds like this kid has a lot of anger, and he's not to that point. Kurt Franklin said he doesn't change his number. He doesn't block him because he says it might be that one day where he'll call and really to repent and turn around his life.
Well, and that's interesting that you brought up the power of the tongue, that you brought up that it can't be tamed, or maybe you brought it up. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But in the book of James, it says that it can't be tamed anyway. It's like the rudder of a small it's a very small instrument. It's like a rudder.
Yeah.
You can turn a big ship with a small instrument like a rudder. So it can be used for steering, and it can be used for great help. But it can also set things on fire and on the order of magnitude of fire of hell. What happens is, and I know this from personal experience, my mom wasn't all that great with me. And, my mom was a hippie. My dad was a biker, so, I didn't have the greatest of upbringing, but, by golly, I had to forgive them for their things. And otherwise, my mom's dead now. But if I hadn't went to her and said, hey, look, you're forgiven, things like this, it would have still been eating at me. And there would have been nothing she could have done because she's dead.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of kids are you're out there and you had things that, your parents weren't perfect. And even if some kids, I don't know, they even make up stuff. I had my daughter one time because I'm very down with the education. I mean, and she said, and I must admit, I blocked her I said, oh, I need a vacation. I think I blocked her for I don't know, three weeks or so like that. But she says that when she was 15, 14 years old, I let her sleep in and didn't have her go to school. And I said, I don't remember that. And I don't think that my mindset would be, okay, if you're sick, okay, don't go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're healthy and you just stay up late, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like she insists that, oh yeah, you said that I can sleep in, don't have to go to school. And I said, well, I don't know what dream that was, but it wasn't here. So I said, oh, let me just put this on hold for a while, and then and then just go, let it slide and what have you. But some our kids they probably know our what is a kid is heels or whatever. And that's one thing I tried not to do when it was raising is not to curse, not to call names or anything like that. I did a pretty good job. More to avoid when the kids would come over and their friends would cuss and say, "Hey, stop cussing in front of my dad." I did such a good job of not fun. Now that they're older, I mean, we talk on a level, and they, they learn the cuss from their friends and whatever, and they're going their direction, whatever. But this kid thing, it's no. A lot of people written books that really, kids don't come out with the learning a manual. It's just, hopefully, you learn some things from your parents, and I think a lot of that stuff, just in general, if parents don't pass this down from this, and some of it is wise tales, and then some of it is good stuff. Like, okay, for instance, okay, a lot of kids used to get like earaches. Well, we're now finding out, and a lot of vegans and plant-based people finding out that the milk, when the milk falls, across the
Yes.
face and it goes into the ear, that
Yes.
it was causing a lot of that problem.
Absolutely.
But I mean, but for a long time, people didn't know. They just thought, well, that's just part of being a kid, until somebody figured that out. So it's kids and Kirk Franklin's child, 32 years old. That is we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But he came out, he confronted it straight on. He didn't hide behind anything, and I got to tip my hat to him for this. They try to keep it private, but the son is the one that brought it out, so he just had to address it. Oh, joke of the day. I heard this morning, and I had to laugh. I had to laugh about this one. Okay. So last night, someone broke into my house, and the only thing they stole was my limbo bar. Out of everything, I had a nice stereo. I had a TV that covered the wall. And I even had a couple of $100 on the dresser. But the only thing they stole was this limbo bar. And all I had to say about that was, how low can you go? so that's our midweek funny.
Yeah, but don't bum.
Yeah. This is our midweek funny. So anyway, we're gonna close it out. Give you a little rest there, so Alan, and we'll see you tomorrow. I got some stuff that I held back on tonight that I'm gonna bring up tomorrow. Just concerning the prison system now, and how they're letting out real bad criminals, and those criminals are going out and doing some interesting things to bystanders.
Oh, absolutely. We'll talk about these and more topics tomorrow, folks.
All right.